Designed from the start with a well-rounded purpose, the TTS rotors are truly the only golf rotors on the market with the perfect combination of a total top service capability, servicing ease, efficiency, and durability, all packed into one product. Let's go out on the course and I'll show you firsthand how simple it is to service the TTS rotors. First, let's take a look at the G800 series rotor. One of the first things you'll notice is that the riser assembly is offset to the side. Putting it to the offset like this allows us to provide a flange compartment area to house all the key components that would normally be subsurface with a rotor. Another reason that it's offset is this allows us to still retain a circular flange on the top of the rotor. This is really key from a customer perspective because that allows them to use the weed eater type of trimming devices that will keep the turf clear away from the flange. On the flange compartment lid here, you can see the on-off auto selector. To this side, you see the recessed area for yardage marker capabilities. This recessed type is standard from the factory and allows you to use the placard style of yardage markers. Also available from the factory is a totally raised area here where the yardage marker companies can direct engrave yardage markers to the plastic. This is becoming the more popular style of yardage marker. Okay, let's take a look at what's inside the flange compartment. First thing you'll notice here is the selector cap. This is a really nice feature for the TTS rotor. This is easily replaceable. Oftentimes this gets damaged under normal maintenance use and so forth. Oftentimes it's expensive and you got to dig to get to it. This particular one comes off quick and easy. It's a very inexpensive part. Okay, next inside here is the adjustable pressure regulator. Having an adjustable pressure regulator is really valuable from a manufacturing and distributor standpoint because you can adjust the rotor if you need to in order to satisfy a customer's need. However, oftentimes in the field that really isn't a necessary feature. It is important to have in a rotor, but you want it really out of sight, out of mind, and we can do that with this flange compartment. You really don't want it up on the upper surface where an untrained worker or perhaps a golfer trying to shut off a rotor might accidentally change your pressure regulation setting. So with the TTS rotor, it's tucked away, out of sight, out of mind. Next, let's take a look at the pilot valve and solenoid assembly. To access the pilot valve and solenoid, just pull up on the wires and you bring it to the top. Puts it in a clean environment so you don't have to worry about any dirt and so forth that have gotten inside the flange compartment. The solenoid assembly is completely serviceable as well. The seat seal can be removed in case it's damaged and replaced, or the plunger assembly can be removed to flush out any contaminants that might be within. The pilot valve assembly is unique in that it houses several key features. First of all, there's a stainless steel seat, helps prevent weeping in the rotor, very, very important. Also on the other end is a filtration system. This gives us our second stage of filtration, the first one being on the inlet valve, second being inside the pilot valve. Helps protect the rotor from contamination. Finally, within the pilot valve is also a freeze suppression unit. This is a patented technology only available with Hunter TTS rotors. From the factory, the TTS rotors have the solenoid leads protruding from the bottom of the rotor in the traditional fashion. One of the unique features about the TTS rotor is the ability to actually take the field controller wiring and then run them up inside the flange compartment. This way you can make your original solenoid connections at the surface level and store them within the flange compartment. If you need to replace the solenoid later on, you really don't have to dig down there to get to it. Reassembly is easy. First we're going to take the solenoid, put it back into the pilot valve assembly, just like that. Next we're going to stuff the connections back inside. Okay, now press the pilot valve assembly back into position, just like that. Going to fold the wires over the top onto the flat of the solenoid and bring those to the inside as well. Put our selector cap back into position. Drop the pressure regulator in. And we're ready to seal it up. That's it with the flange compartment. Now let's take a look at the riser assembly and inlet valve. First thing we're going to do is remove the upper snap ring with a snap ring tool, just like that. One of the things you'll notice is that all TTS rotors have an upper snap ring with a flexible wiper seal. This is for external sand contamination resistance, helps protect the rotor's riser seal from top dressing and so forth. The upper snap ring on TTS rotors are also used for reclaimed water identification. Every Hunter Golf rotor has a pull-up socket on the riser assembly, so to remove the riser, simply put the tool in, pull up, and take it out. To gain access to the inlet valve, we take out the lower snap ring. Next, we'll use the removal and installation tool to take out that inlet valve. What we need to do is align these arrows at the top with the center of the flange compartment. There's a dot right here. Drop it into position, press down, rotate clockwise, and pull the valve out. To remove the valve from the tool, simply press the tool down, turn counterclockwise, and remove from the valve. TTS rotors have a unitized inlet valve. That means that the rock screen and valve seat are all included in one piece. To install the inlet valve to the rotor, first we need to load the lower snap ring to the tool. Next, we need to load the tool to the valve. One reference is the communication tube on the valve. The next one is the arrow at the top. We simply align these two components together, press together, turn clockwise, and lock them in position. Next, to install the valve, we're going to align this dot to the arrow again, drop it into the rotor, press all the way down until you hear it snap, turn counterclockwise, then remove the tool. The final step is to drop the riser assembly into position, press down, then take the snap ring and lock the rotor in position. And that's it for the G800. And now let's take a look at the G900 series total top service rotor. The G900 series has a flange compartment just like the G800. In fact, the components within are identical, so there's really no need for us to cover that again. To gain access to the riser assembly and inlet valve, first we need to remove the logo cap. Next, press down on the riser assembly to place it below the upper snap ring. Now we remove the upper snap ring with a snap ring tool. Now insert the tool into the riser assembly and remove the riser. Now let's remove the lower snap ring in order to gain access to the inlet valve. To remove the inlet valve, we use the G900 series installation and removal tool. There are two reference points to bear in mind. There's one point right here on the tool itself, and then at the center of the flange compartment lid. There's a dot for reference. Align the two components up, drop the tool into position, press down, turn clockwise, and remove the valve. Like all TTS rotors, the inlet valves are unitized. The rock screen and valve seat are integrated into one piece. To install the inlet valve, first notice the communication port here. We'll use that as a reference point. Next, place the lower snap ring into position. Now, take the installation tool and position it such with this gap in alignment with the communication port. Press down and clockwise to lock it into position. Next, use your reference points here and here to drop the tool into position. Press it all the way down into the bottom, press down, turn counterclockwise, and remove the tool. Install the riser assembly, pressing it down all the way. Install the upper snap ring. And next, the very important step is to pull the riser assembly up above that snap ring, like so. Finally, install the logo cap. And we're done. And now the TTS 900 is ready for action.